Hit the glow plugs twice just to be sure. I'm not sure this thing would start without glow plugs. I know Dana seems to have pretty good luck with his Bobcat, but I know I need to have a pretty strong battery in this thing. I do have a new battery, at least I think it's a new battery that they put in this machine the last time I brought it in to have a repair done to it. Can't remember if they charged me for it. I'll have to take a look back and see. But yep, she's a good machine so far. Only had a couple little things since I've got it. I've had it for about, oh geez, I'd have to say 3 years now. And knock on wood, she's done a lot more than I thought she was going to do. So, back to work. All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome down to the Mount Tammany Ridge Woodyard. It is my scheduled Wednesday off for the month, and actually there's 2 per month, I believe. And I woke up this morning. Turns out I have shingles, and boy, that's just that's great. So, but it's not going to stop me from doing what I got to do down here in the woodyard today. So let's get this burn barrel fired up. These are a great source of fire starter. If you've got some cedar shakes or shims or things like that laying around the garage. Just so happens to be that wasn't that long ago we had bought some. I figured instead of struggling down here, of course I might be speaking too soon. Just because there's smoke doesn't mean there's going to certainly be a full-on fire. So help warm things up. It was about 22 degrees or so last night. Got the wood splitter fired up, and I know you know, doing a cold start when, you know, it warms up to, say, you know, 38 degrees during the day, that's basically these days that's an East Coast you know, tri-state region cold start, because past several winters has been really mild, and it's the best cold start we can get. You know, we're not up in Prudhoe Bay or Yellowknife, Alaska, so you want to see some cold start videos, watch those guys. Those guys will they'll teach you how to get something started in the cold. I'll tell you, that's pretty impressive. Not to mention, you know, northern Maine, you know, you got Caribou, Maine, and Presque Isle, all those areas. And I'm sure Phil and Karen and Dana, growing up in that area, they've probably got some pretty good stories themselves about some crazy cold weather. It was probably, I would say it's probably 8 years ago now. But we used to go snowmobiling up in northern New York, the Old Forge area and Moose River Plains and all that. And there was a mountain up there, I'd have to say, I think it was called Bald Mountain. And when we were up there the one night, apparently up top of the hill there, now, I don't know if this was with wind chill or without, but they were talking temperatures up there of 92 below zero. I could not imagine. I've heard there are some crazy temperatures up in New Hampshire at the top of Mount Washington throughout the winter. And even through the warm season, it can get crazy cold up there, especially with the wind cranking. But boy, oh boy, I'll tell you, that's a nice sound behind me in that crackling fire. I had to put my long johns on today and everything to come down here and get myself fired up. And so I'm going to tend to this fire a little bit more, see if I can get some of this slash thrown in there if I can get that thing hot enough. It's got some pretty good frost on it, but I imagine that won't be too much of a problem. But enough yammering, and we're gonna do some firewood processing today. I got to take a basket of ash up to the other side of the property, and yeah, we'll have to see where it goes. I really didn't have a set plan. And also another subject I want to talk with you guys about is this mystery wood here, and kind of bounce some things off of you and see if maybe you guys might be able to help me find out what the heck this stuff is. So we'll talk about that later on in the video if you guys want to hang out. And yeah, let's get to it, guys. Gets cranking. There's a lot of smoke, but like I said before, that really doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna get rip roaring. But part of it's my fault. I really should have that slash pile or slash piles consolidated to one, and you know, throw some kind of a plastic, like a tarp or maybe some vapor barrier plastic or something over it. The only thing I got concerned about doing that is because it's so mild here right now and there's no frost in the ground, I thought that maybe it might wind up causing like a trapping the moisture under the cover, and then get everything soaking wet and moldy from the ground moisture. But which I'm probably not far off on that. So we'll just oh, this A-pillar is gonna drive me nuts. My local New Holland dealer, they did a great job getting my machine back running. The thing is, they kept all the spare parts, like nuts and bolts, to hold things back in your machine. So that's a little bit frustrating. But yeah, I'm gonna have to contact them to find out, you know, where the heck my nuts and bolts are to hold my A-pillar covers steady. So, oh, that drives me nuts. So, anywho, I'm gonna have to hold that. That's embarrassing. Yep, I'm gonna work my way up here to the upper lot, get this stuff dropped, and actually, I'm gonna stop yammering for a minute because I need to stop here in the garage. Good, the door's open. Stop here in the garage so that I can get my my sandpaper. I keep forgetting to bring my sandpaper down to the wood yard so that I can sand off these old dates and write on some new ones. So now is the time. Now that it's on my mind. For that to rhyme, but hey, whatever. I gotta hop out, sand off one of those tags, relabel it, and I guess I'll bring you all along with me for that. So these are just little aluminum tags. See if I can sand this. Really, I think I need a smaller piece of sandpaper to do this.
Hopefully that scratching on the metal's not blowing your eardrums out. I'll have to make sure I adjust the audio during editing if it needs it. This was a mix, no longer. Of course, let's say, hold on a minute. Man, that's terrible. It's only been 3 days and I still can't remember what the date is. Oh, too much stuff on my mind. All right, cool. Well, I figured now would be a good time to talk to you about this mystery wood. Now, might not be such a mystery after all. Literally right before I turned the camera on, I went over to the pieces that I had to put my sniffer to today, and I'm kind of starting to lean on oak. Now, yesterday, I had a friend over. He does a lot of barbecue and stuff like that, so he has a smoker and he uses it quite often. However, in the recent years, he's switched over to pellet. So just because it's got a timer on it, it's super easy to kind of walk away from it for a while. But it's I don't know. Let me grab a piece, just a sliver here, and show it to you guys. And I'm also going to grab a piece that's got some bark, and you know, maybe you guys can throw it at me, you know, what you think, you know, it might be. Like I said, it's starting to smell a little bit more like oak, but it doesn't have that how can I say, the smell of dog dung, you know, like it usually does. But I don't know. Let me get this stuff. All right, so this is the piece that I was smelling yesterday when it was freshly split, and it had like a to me, it had kind of a like a fruit smell to it, and I wasn't sold on apple, but maybe like a pear tree of some sort. I think my sniffer might be broken this morning, although this has dried out pretty well overnight. This one looks like it's got a little bit of a wet spot in it still. Yeah, it's almost like well, naturally, you know, a vapor, an aroma is basically a vapor. So when it begins to dry out in the wind and all, I imagine it probably goes away. If I had a freshly split piece, you know, I'm sure it would smell strong like it did yesterday. But if you guys could just here, take a smell. What, you can't smell it? What the hell good are you guys? Sheesh. I'm trying to look for help here. So, because there's no smell for either one of us apparently at the point, so I'll give you a little bit of a gander at the bark. Now, I know this is totally amateur of me to do, but that's exactly what I am, an amateur. So, kind of reminds me of a maple, but I don't know. Wish I had a fresh end cut for you guys to look at. Yeah, there's nothing here doesn't have saw marks on it, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of characteristics of the internal grain that does remind me of some sort of an oak. I know here in the United States we have a whole plethora of different species of oak, which certainly doesn't make matters easier for us. But yeah, let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below as to the little bit that you might be able to lean me toward as far as the bark anyway, and the orange-like color on the inside. You know, kind of reminds me of maybe like a red oak, but I was under the impression that red oaks weren't like a low to the ground type of tree. Like this tree's trunk was not large and, you know, tall, meaning it did get girthy at the bottom, but the leaders broke off and went different directions, like a lower kind of a canopy. So but anywho, yeah, let me know what you think. I'm gonna get back to finishing up this IBC tote, and I'll talk to you guys shortly. All right, everybody, well, that's going to be it for me today. I'm going to clean up what's left there on this tabletop, put it in the tote, and call it good. I have some bucking to do with some more ash. I got a date tomorrow, and that date's going to be with Husqvarna 460. We're going to be bucking up some log rounds, getting prepared to probably top off this tote. This is going to do a pretty good job of it, but it's not going to be not quite enough for me to be happy with how much is in there. So then I got another tote here that's empty and ready to be filled back up. So yeah, it sounds like we've got some, you know, supposedly we've got some snow coming to us this upcoming Saturday evening, I suppose. They're claiming possibly 5 to 8 inches overnight Saturday and into Sunday morning. Whether that's actually going to happen or not, who knows? I ain't gonna hold my breath, but I'm also not gonna get caught sleeping either. So the skid steer's ready to go. The plow, I posted a video a little while ago, you know, talking about the plow and doing a couple things to it to make sure it was working properly. And sooner than later, I'm gonna start putting things in the description, you know, for things that I use around here, you know, links in the description and stuff like that. I'm not real savvy when it comes to this stuff. I'm way behind in the social media thing, and you know, being able to post links and things like that. So I might have to lean on my wife and my daughter to do that for me, or not do it for me. Let me correct, to teach me how to do it, because they know better than that. They won't do it for me. They'll teach me how to do it. And understandably, because they're both very busy already as it is. So but yeah, these you might have seen me kind of jamming out, singing them myself while I was splitting. And these 3M ear protecting, I guess, ear muffs are awesome. They're very warm, and you know, they've got the Bluetooth connectivity with a rechargeable battery, I guess, inside, like a lithium battery or something. They're awesome. They're really good. Now they do make one. Mike Morgan actually has a set of these, but his has the ability to pick up AM, FM, local radio stations and stuff. And I'm on a shoestring budget, so I opted just for the one that's got the Bluetooth connectivity, and it works great. You know, there's a few other things that I have laying around here that you may or may not be interested in. I have to kind of, you know, dig them things up wherever they are, who knows. But I wanted to thank you guys very much for hanging out with me down here in the wood yard, Mount Tammany Ridge. It felt really good today to get down here and fire up the Semi-Pro. This Brute Force Semi-Pro has really, it just amazes me. I have lost so much time with the rain and, you know, just not being able to get down here because, you know, I really try hard to not make a mess. You know, it's very hard to do when you're processing firewood. And, you know, whatever mess I do make, I also try to make it in a smaller confined area. One of those things that I struggle with, really struggle with, is, you know, machinery, moving machinery around, the excavator, the skid steer. You know, those things, they will make a tremendous mess, you know, tracking around and doing things like that. So, you know, I've come to use the Mahindra tractor, which really isn't mine, that's my folks' tractor. I've come to really appreciate that little tractor and those turf tires that are on there. However, you know, in the mud season, that tractor, though it is more gentle on the turf, it will get stuck if you're not careful. So, yeah, like I said, you know, I'll put links in the description for things that I come across as I'm making videos. And if there's anything, you know, that you see in the background, from a farm implement to, you know, maybe a tool that I'm using, or maybe a tool that I'm not using, maybe there's just a tool randomly laying around in the background. If you happen to see it, if you're scoping around and you happen to see it, let me know. Ask me some questions in the comment, and I'll you know, fire up the camera and I'll answer whatever questions it is you might have. And that's about it. But soon, also, on top of there being a snow event, and me, obviously, I'm likely to make a snow plowing video, which a lot of people seem to like. I'm also going to be bringing the Brute Force up to the garage, and I'm going to be doing, you know, oil change, things like that. Make sure the fluids are all correct levels and so on. So I'll do a little bit of talking about the Brute Force while I'm in and out of the weather, and hopefully by that point I will have my lighting situation in the garage at least temporarily corrected. So anywho, this was a long video closeout. I'm going to stop yammering. Thanks again for hanging out with me here in Tammany Ridge, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Have a good night.